Okay, so I want to talk about three-way comping. And this is another really famous drum book by the wonderful legendary jazz drummer, Jim Chapin, Advanced Techniques for the Modern Drummer. Again, as you can see by the amazing elaborate artwork, this was written like in the 40s, I think it was. And anyway, I've come up with a system. Actually, well, this is a system of three-way comping, which the wonderful Australian drummer Ben Vanderwell sort of alluded me to, and I've gone and developed this in my own way. So basically, what I did is I went to exercise 4A. This is on page 25 in Jim Chapin's book, and I just took the first exercise here, which is it's just this. I'll play it for you. So bass drum and snare drum. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. And what I was interested in is I think there's like something like more than 500 different drum titles, books available out there in the market. And what I was interested in doing is, it would take several lifetimes to get through all that information, or all those books. So looking at these books, I think, how can I get the essence of these books without having the laborious job of going through painstakingly exercise by exercise and doing each book. Some books it's necessary to do that because it helps you develop muscle memory, but other books it's not. And so I came up with this system with the help of Ben. And if you get a chance, by the way, check out Ben because he's an amazing drummer. But I came up with the system here, and at the end of this lesson, this sheet will be displayed, so you'll be able to check it out, or you can go to my website. But so what I did is I wrote out this exercise and I permutated it, so 8 times. So there's 8 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so I wrote it out 8 times, each time with the same pattern moving along 1/8 note. And so I'm going to play the first couple of exercises, and then I'll show you what you can do with this. And by practicing this will take your coordination to a new level. Okay, so here's exercise 1, nice and slow. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, great. So that's nothing special. That's what's in Jim Chapin's book. I mean, it's great, but it's already been said. But so what I did is now I've got exercise number 2, which is the same pattern starting on this permutated along one. So it's going to be like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and the third one would be starting with the bass drum, moving along 1 more 8th note. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and so on. And you can check out the other permutations. So I would suggest also practicing the same exercises, the same musical phrases, substituting the bass drum for the hi-hat. So the first one would be 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And so on. Okay, so once you've been through all those permutations playing snare drum and bass drum, and then substituting each bass drum for the hi-hat and playing through them again, right at the bottom here I have a 2-bar phrase, which is, this will be substituting every second bass drum for a hi-hat note. So, and three-way coordination on the drums being bass drum, snare drum, hi-hat. So this combination here at the bottom, substituting every second bass drum for the hi-hat. And remember, the original pattern was 1, 2, 3, 4. So that it takes 2 bars when I substitute every second bass drum for a hi-hat to come back to beat 1. And it'll be like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. It's a very symmetrical pattern, and I love that. It's very, balanced. Okay, so I'm going to practice that with the ride cymbal pattern. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and so on down the page. I'm going to pick the third phrase, the third permutation, which is, remember, this one starts with the bass drum. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to play the same phrase, substituting every second note on the bass drum for a hi-hat. A little faster. Okay, so, okay, the next thing is I want to talk very quickly about what I'm going to call the Roy Haynes linking phrase. And it's simply this: it's a hi-hat and 2 snare drums. So let's practice that. I'm going to practice this in straight eighth note, swung eighth notes. And so here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. A little faster. 1, 2, 1, 2. And we should also practice that playing the same phrase with the bass drum. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Same phrase faster. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, So if you take the phrases that that are on this page here that I talked about before, the 8-note Jim Chapin phrase that we permutated, and you scramble those phrases and add the Roy Haynes 3-note phrase that I just talked about, then it sounds like we can get this continuous line happening. So I'll play an example of this slower at first. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. A little faster, same kind of idea. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so next I want to take the phrase that I like, the third permutation, which remember starts with the bass drum. It's 1, and I'm going to substitute every other note, every second note, bass drum note, for the hi-hat, and I'm going to do this in triplets. It's important we do this as well. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4.